This is the Barbados Today morning news for Monday, October 28th. Thank you for joining us. I am Mary Claire Williams. Our top story, Nevis Premier Mark Brantley has warned that the region's hard-won independence is being slowly eroded by new efforts at colonial domination. He was addressing the annual Barbados Labour Party's convention on Sunday, where he pointed to continued demands by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the OECD, for countries in the region to tighten international tax laws to avoid being blacklisted. Brantley said this is driving away business from the region.
In my own little Nevis, we have seen a 30% reduction in new financial services business this year due to our amendments to the financial service legislative framework to pacify Brussels. The evidence would suggest that business lost is not fleeing to other parts of the world. It is fleeing to states in the United States, such as Delaware and Nevada, which are immune from the reach of the EU, the FATF, the OECD, and others. There is, my friends, no level playing field and no effort to ensure that all are required to play by the same rules. Each cycle of demands by the EU, by the FATF, by the OECD, and others results in a capitulation of small countries like ours. Each capitulation leads to greater and more onerous demands.
Brantley also demanded that there be a more level playing field between the Caribbean and the international community.
The EU and others must understand that Barbados and the Caribbean do not desire confrontation and acrimony. We require genuine partnership and respect. Belgium and Germany cannot assert their sovereign right to tax their citizens at 40%, while denying Barbados its equally sovereign right to tax its citizens at 10%. It is not enough for powerful nations to say to small nations that our tax policies are harmful to them without showing us how such harm occurs. This, ladies and gentlemen, is an incredibly important lesson, an incredibly important message that we, all of us, must never tire in advocating. This risk of blacklisting and the reputational damage caused thereby then feeds into a vicious, false narrative that we of this region are tax havens, incapable of effectively regulating and managing our financial systems.
Prime Minister Mia Mottley has told party supporters that her political rivals are not up to the task of leading the country. Addressing the BLP's annual convention, Mottley charged that Reverend Joseph Atherley, Verla de Pisa and Grenville Phillips are not fit to lead.
Verla de Pisa is the Barbados Labour Party's greatest friend in George Street, and long may her presiding over that party stay, because as long as she is in charge, the Barbados Labour Party will be looking for other battles to fight.
Meanwhile, Senator Kay McConney is the new chair of the Barbados Labour Party. The Minister of Innovation, Science and Smart Technology was elected to the post at the party's convention on the weekend. She succeeds George Payne, who served for the past 3 years. Minister of People's Empowerment and Elder Affairs, Cynthia Ford, was re-elected first Vice President, while Kurt Haynes was elected third Vice President. The recently appointed Executive Chairman of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Juliet Bino Sutherland, has appealed for a chance to run the institution. It comes on the heels of criticism leveled against her following the announcement of her appointment last week. That's because Bino Sutherland is also the wife of Minister of Small Business Dwight Sutherland, but she told the BLP's annual convention that she is capable of turning around the institution's fortunes.
So we are introducing an executive chair which will achieve 3 things. It will provide the board direct responsibility for the day-to-day management. It increases the accountability of the board for the performance. The decision-making and implementation gap is therefore narrowed, and it is more accountability, not less, than is being suggested. We are therefore restructuring how we deliver clinical services. Thank you. And we are restructuring the management team to have a stronger focus on clinical service delivery so we can deal with those issues.
The Democratic Labour Party says there is need for fresh blood at the helm of the party. The DLP's representative for St. Michael Northwest, Ryan Walters, says more young people need to get involved in planning the country's future. Walters took over from the former Finance Minister Chris Sinclair, and he's seeking to unseat the BLP's junior minister Neil Rowe in the next election. Walters said he believes that the country is still lacking opportunities for young people, and his party is poised to create the change needed.
Even without any hard evidence, one can assume that in the last election, the Democratic Labour Party would have lost a lot of young people. It is very important that we seek to bring these people back into the discussion, and we need to make young people a part of our process in terms of recapturing our interest and our confidence within the society. Our approach should be one where we are innovative, we are proactive, and we are youthful.
Police are on the hunt for the killer of Jamar Omar Haynes of Combermere Street, St. Michael. He was shot around 9:50 on Saturday night while walking on Nelson Street, the city. Lawmen say Haynes was heading in a northerly direction when he was approached from behind by a man wearing a dark hoodie. The man fired several shots at Haynes, and he was taken to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in a private vehicle. Police are appealing to anyone with information that can assist with their investigation to call the emergency number 211 or the Central Police Station at 430-7169 or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-8477 or any police station.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Craft Center. Kick off the weekend this Friday from 4 p.m. to midnight with loads of food, drinks, and entertainment. Get ready for Crop Over with the Rhythm Roots Street Parade. Party like it's Kadooman Day on the street around Pelican Village with costume reveler, music, and more. It's Festive Friday. It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Village Center from 4 p.m. to midnight. Admission free.
Thank you for staying with us. We're back with news from the region. Jamaica's Mountain View community is appealing to authorities to take action to restore law and order. They made the plea as a result of an ongoing feud between rival gangs. We get more in this report from TVJ News.
The recent flare-up in the Mountain View area heightened on October 4 after Bobby Perry, a resident of Goodwich Lane, was shot and killed. On that day, residents of Goodwich Lane expressed concern.
About 5 weeks now, we live with them. I come down Pan Byron Road and a fire shot down Pan Goodwich Lane. And look how far Byron Road, Goodwich Lane is from Jakes Road.
Things have since took a turn for the worse. 2 residents of Jakes Road have been killed. One on the grounds of the Norman Gardens Primary and Junior High School, and the other at a doctor's office on Deanery Road, St. Andrew. When we visited the community recently, the residents were fearful.
People there at school, at work, I work them honest bird, and I go in at the schoolyard and kill people in front of Pitney. That can't safe. Oh, that for safe. A church left next for them come take way out. Them are torment to down here, I wanna see them.
There have been much back and forth between residents of both communities as to how it all started, who's responsible, and when will it end. Security presence has since increased as law enforcers try to maintain order in the space. On Thursday, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang said decisive steps will be taken to tackle gangs in the area. While that's being done, investigations continue.
On the international scene, U.S. President Donald Trump says the Islamic State group leader has killed himself in a U.S. military operation in northwest Syria. We get the details in this Reuters report.
The leader of Islamic State has been killed in a U.S. military operation, President Donald Trump announced on Sunday.
He died like a dog. He died like a coward. The world is now a much safer place.
Trump said Baghdadi had dragged 3 of his children into a tunnel as U.S. forces closed in. There, he detonated an explosive vest. His body was identified by DNA 15 minutes after he was killed. The offensive reportedly took place after midnight in Berisha, a village in Syria's northwestern Idlib province near the Turkish border. This eyewitness says he woke to the sound of planes and went outside, where he was confronted by soldiers who told him to get on the ground and handcuffed him. Trump hinted that something was afoot late on Saturday, tweeting, "Something very big has just happened." He's faced withering criticism for his withdrawal of US troops from northeastern Syria, which allowed Turkey to attack America's Kurdish allies. Many critics had expressed concerns that the withdrawal could lead the Islamic State militancy to regain strength.
That's the news, but for the very latest, you can visit our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I am Mary Claire Williams. Good morning.